So in this section, we are going to talk about custom actions and why do we need custom actions, right? So basically, custom actions is something wherein we can write our business logic. So when there are when we build chatbots, there are external API interactions, or also there are whatever the responses that we get from the APIs that we process those API, yeah. And so basically, to handle the business interaction, we use custom actions, right? So what we will do is we'll build a flow and then we'll show how custom actions come into picture. So the custom action component uses Python as coding. So if you have to do the scripting, you would have to know custom actions. We have similar one more feature called as API component, which we'll address later on in this section. But let me just what do something. We'll add new input called as user input, and in the interactive reply, we'll add a new option called as maybe know the status of inquiry, right? So we are assuming that the inquiries that were captured is uh, push to the CRM, and then we'll be able to find the status of inquiry, right? So add this, save it, and basically add a keyword here, enable context menu, add this, right? So first thing that we are going to ask is enter the status number. Right? And this is just for the demonstration purpose. We are not actually making an API call, but what we will do is we'll use the custom actions here, right? So once we add a custom action, this component, if I click on this, you will see that this is a Python code. So we have some default Python code here for the reference. So which this thing basically calls the WhatsApp send message API and basically submits the customer message, right? So if you can see here in the body, so it's doing the request.post. So if you're aware of Python, this is actually calling the API through code, right? So I can even write my all my custom code here, right? And then it would be able to submit. It would basically call the API, right? So what I'll do is first thing. Uh, so I'll just execute. So first thing, once you add this code, I'm not doing any changes to this code. This is basically sending a hi hello message. So what I'll do is I'll just do a submit. I'll save this. Okay, I'll save. Executed the code. The code executed successfully. If the code is not proper, it would fail. Right. Let me just show how that would look. Right. It is something like that. It would fail. Right. However, if the code is proper, it would pass through. Right. So I save this and I save and publish it. Okay. This is done. So what we'll do is we'll just go. We'll say hi on WhatsApp. And here we have a new section as status of inquiry. So once I do this, it's asking for my status number, and it sent from the from the custom actions. Uh, you know, hello message is sent, right? So what we will do is, so now I'll add a user input here. Whatever input the user is entering. In this case, I'll add it as a character, alphanumeric. I save this, right? And once I do this, it just for demonstration, instead of hello, what message, we'll send a message. Your your inquiry is under process. Um, Now this is basically doing a WhatsApp send message. So I could basically call the API, take the status number, call the API, get a response, and then do a WhatsApp send message one. Or else I can do something called a set slot. So there is something called a what is a set slot. So if you can see, there are different methods that we're doing, like set slot, get slot, and stuff. So these getting a slot is basically getting. So we have something like these are nodes. I can get the value of a slot of a node through get slot. Or I can set a slot, basically assign a value to a variable and use that for my reference, right? So either I can use that API response and set it in a slot and then use it elsewhere, right? I can execute this code and I save it. Right. So once I do this, so basically what we are trying to just create, trying to demonstrate as to how I can basically ask a user inquiry number or something, and then I can basically call a custom code and call the API, right? So I'll publish this. So this is done. And I say hi. I think this, so once I get hi, main menu, status of inquiry, send. And please enter your status number. So I enter some random number. I'm just trying to demonstrate this. Actually, real life use case, we would be actually entering a valid status number, and then it's basically doing sending a message from custom action, not from text reply, right? It is getting from the custom code. So likewise, I can even call the API and get the response and then send it across. So how we have demonstrated how custom action looks like, and we can also achieve the same action through API component. What is the API component? API component is similar to custom to basically calling any APIs through this component. So what I can do is I can enter the URL, I can enter the type of method, the body, if it's a JSON body, the headers, I can set everything, and whatever responses would be saved in this slot. As I mentioned, everything, all the values are saved in slots, right? Those slot values I can use it for display. Okay, so this is API component is wherein I can directly use the component for calling APIs. So maybe if I want to push the data to my CRM, I can use an API component to push the data. But with custom action, I have a lot of control as to I can write the entire business logic here. And even I fetch the data, I set the basically write my entire business logic, do all the operations here, and then I have greater flexibility using a custom action versus using a API component. So that's about it. In our next section, we are going to cover more about what the offerings of Chatbot Builder. So stay tuned. Thank you.